Welcome to Nate's Growth Lab, where I am on this 52-week journey of making my life unrecognizable in the most positive way possible. We're officially in week 22, week 22 of this challenge. And it's been one hell of a ride thus far. I'll give you all a quick update on what the past few weeks have been like. My hair, I'm looking at my hair and I'm like, damn, I need a haircut. It's coming. Y'all don't drag me for looking a little dusty right now. I got a reason. But essentially, back in November, I had a week where I flew from spent a few days in DC and nonstop high level speaking engagement work type stuff, flew home for a single day for a doctor's appointment, and then turned right back around like and took another red eye to another city for another event, and then flew back home. And pretty much, next thing you know, it's Thanksgiving, and then I took a week off of work for a medical procedure. What I want to focus in on right now for this particular episode is the ways that we show up for ourselves and push when there's really not much in the tank. Somebody that I'm getting tremendous strength and motivation from is David Goggins. I know that there are a lot of folks that have nice things to say about him, some folks that have some not so nice things to say about him. But for me personally, I just get tremendous motivation and strength out of reading his story, embodying some of the thought processes that he has. What actually realized through reading his book. So normally Veterans Day, I spend the whole day driving around and I go buy I get all the free shit that veterans get all around the city. I hit all the restaurants, get a free haircut, that's not why my hair's messed up, but I get a free haircut and, I don't know, all the things that I do for free. But this year, what I did is I just stayed home and like cracked open his book and just was like stuck in it. It was the first time that I'd read a book of somebody that had had a challenging upbringing and found ways to use that as fuel to move them forward. And it was the first time reading it from someone that was in the military, that was also black man, and it just like was giving me all the life. And so I mentioned that because like I found that in the past few weeks, some of that sort of keep freaking moving is what has gotten me through. So I mentioned I had all that travel, and it was one of those things where it just was like, I'm a badass. Like, no, not too many people have been through the things that I've been through and still be smiling on the other side, and I'm Kool-Aid grinning. So you know what? Whatever this is that's in front of me right now today ain't got shit on it. And that's really how I moved through the week. I crushed it. And then the week leading up to Thanksgiving was a little bit challenging as my energy levels were starting to dip. But this was something that just kind of carried throughout. And after I had my procedure, you know, I was leaning into that, just like keep moving one foot in front of the other. There was a moment after my procedure when I was in the healing process last week where I was really weak, and I'm a soldier through and through. Spent 8 years in the U.S. Army, and I ain't don't nobody take this the wrong way, but I ain't no bitch. And if you ever see me in person, I move with a pep in my step. I walk fast everywhere. There's a say in the army: move with a sense of urgency, and that's just how I move. And this was like maybe 3 days after my procedure, and I had to go pick up a prescription at the VA. And the VA here in LA, they've got this valet parking system. And it's free, and it's for veterans that are disabled, to help us make sure that people don't have to walk across the campus to get their car. And usually I'll pull up to the little valet and be like, yo, I'll park it myself, park it, get out, go to my appointment, do what I gotta do. Well, last Wednesday, I was feeling so bad that I get to the VA and I was like, nah, I'm gonna let them park it. Take my keys, and I'm walking inside and I'm just like moving so slow and feeling so weak. And I was like, you know, I kind of feel like I need a wheelchair, but fuck that. I don't need no damn wheelchair. I'm just gonna keep walking, putting one foot in front of the other. Long story short, I ended up having to walk back and forth to the pharmacy 3 different times. They kept jacking up my prescription, not finding it or whatever. Had to step outside the VA, call the doctor, come back inside the VA. Well, all of that back and forth, each time I made a lap, I was just feeling weaker and weaker. And on that last time walking into the VA, I just kind of like had to go into the zone, and I went into like David Goggins mode of just like, all right, motherfucker, you've been through some shit. Put one foot in front of the other and keep moving. And I just kept walking and got what I needed to get done and got in my truck and went on about my way, went home and curled up in a ball and recovered. Now, while I mention this as a win because I was able to dig deep and push through, I also want to highlight a vulnerability that it showed me. And that vulnerability, especially these past 2 weeks of what it has shown me, is my inability or my discomfort with asking for or accepting help when I actually need it. So prior to my procedure, reached out to some dear friends, let them really know what was going on. And everyone that I reached out to was like, Nate, we love you. How can we help? If you need something to eat, I'll get you something to eat. Do you need somebody to come over and clean your place? I'm happy to have somebody come and clean your place. 99.9% of the time, each time somebody asked me if I needed something, my answer was like, no, I'm good. I got it. And in the back of my head, I'm like, wow, it really would be nice to have X, Y, and Z. Or wow, the thought of somebody cleaning my apartment for me, that would be fantastic. But something deep inside of me was uncomfortable with accepting any sort of help. And if there are a few things that became abundantly clear to me in these past few weeks. One of those things was my inability to accept help, and it would be so conscious of with me around someone offering something, and then immediately be like, I'm uncomfortable with this. I'm uncomfortable, one, saying that I actually need something because I've been so self-sufficient my whole life, and two, it was I don't feel like I want to ever be a burden to anyone. Now across the board, no one that I was asking to do anything was I asking them to like turn water into wine or like give me $1 million. Like most of these folks were going to bring me some soup or something or send me some Postmates. It wasn't a big deal, but it really kind of showed me that I still have some more work to do on myself so that I can actually be available to the people that are around me that know and love me. So that was something that really stuck out to me. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because I wonder, and it makes me curious around how many people out there are dealing with this same thing of whether you are somebody that's always been a hard charger, you're someone that's been able to take care of yourself, you've been independent. It's like if you can't do for you, then you go without. Like, how many of you out there are navigating that? And then the question is, how has that hindered you? Like how has that impacted your ability to how has that impacted your ability to see when a little bit of help from someone who loves and cares about you would have gone the furthest distance versus you trying to struggle to do something on your own? Because when I think about the VA, like honestly, I could have called a friend and been like, I'm really not feeling well. um can I give you my VA ID and send you into and you go in the pharmacy and take care of this for me and just bring me my medicine? I know a handful of people that would have been like, yeah, Nate, I got you. But I was just so uncomfortable with making that sort of ask. Another thing that came up for me especially in that week where I was traveling, was my inability to accept the wins and give myself credit for when I knock shit out of the park. And I think this might be true for some of y'all high achievers. It's like you achieve a goal and then you're on to the next. And you don't even take that beat to be like, oh shit, I did something good, or I did something major, or I reached that goal that I was striving for. It's just like, all right, cool, I did that. Now what's next? And that really kind of came up for me in real time, because I noticed that while I was traveling, there were some things that I was doing that were pretty significant. And instead of even paying attention to the positive of it, my mind was immediately going to the 2% that I got wrong. Forgetting to switch the slides, 0.5 seconds before I was supposed to switch the slides. Nobody even noticed that I missed the beat other than me. But like, instead of focusing on the whole hour or 90 minutes, it was that one instance where I fumbled over my words for a second. And it kind of made me take a step back and be like, bro, yeah, you could be hard on yourself, but I also got to go hard on like celebrating the wins, celebrating when I get shit right. Because constantly like beating up on myself all the time just isn't winning. Um, and so it's so interesting that like through this challenge of like having to be aware of how I'm showing up and being more conscious of how I'm moving and what are the things that I'm thinking through. It's really made this a really unique process and somewhat fun, somewhat scary, still trepidatious about this whole thing and where this shit's going. And the last thing that I'll say related to this is I know that I got to give myself a big ass pat on the back for surviving and thriving as best I could through this past month. There aren't a lot of people that will take on the type of fertility preservation challenge that I've taken on while also maintaining a full time job and travel. But I did it, and I now I've come out the other side. Full transparency, it took me a full week to recover from the process. Yesterday was the first day that I woke up and felt mostly like myself, which really thank God for that. Um, but yeah, it just was like I got to give myself credit for the wins and the things that I get right when I get it right by being so aware and conscious of where it is that I want to go and being dead set on doing it is that like I'm really starting to see the differences and the improvements of how I'm moving. And as hard as the past few weeks have been, I'm locked in. There's one thing about being locked in that people often misinterpret. When you're locked in, it doesn't always mean that you've got the pedal to the metal and you're burning the engine into the red. Being locked in just means you're in the right gear for the moment and you're rolling at a good clip with efficiency. And I feel like I'm locked in right now. Like, am I producing at my 100% capacity? Hell no. But what I am doing is I'm on a smooth and steady up ramp of getting stronger and getting better and getting more accountable about doing the things that I say that I will do, or that and the things that I want to do. And it feels good. It feels really good to be this locked in and getting back into flow. So yeah, I hope that this video is it's a little bit long, it's a little bit all over the place, but fuck it. Still got brain fog, and it'll probably be like that for another week or so. So y'all are gonna have to bear with me. One of the other things is that I haven't been able to work out in a month. Like I've had doctor actually I'm gonna be honest about that. I haven't been able to work out per doctor's orders for 3 weeks. The week before that, when I was traveling, I didn't get my ass in the gym like I could have. I actually didn't even bring my exercise shoes. So let me be honest about that. But the last 3 weeks, per doctor's orders, the only thing I was allowed to do was walk for 30 minutes a day. No heavy lifting, no running, no hot tub, no sauna. So any of the things that are generally a part of my wellness self-care toolbox were not available for me to use. And so like today is actually the first day that I can officially go to the gym. And yeah, just the idea of getting back into flow and seeing where things go. Like I said, we are on in this journey together. So I'm curious, for those of you out there, what are some of the ways that you've had to dig deep and keep it moving when all the systems wanted to shut down? What are the things that you've done or the times in your life where you haven't given yourself credit when you absolutely deserved all the credit? And as some folks say, all the flowers. What are the ways in which you've denied yourself of support from the people around you because you felt uncomfortable saying that you actually needed something? I invite you to think about that. Think through some of those things that have come up for you or in your past, and how can you move differently in the future? Once again, we are all on this 52-week journey together, whether you're doing it week by week with me or if you are tuning in for the first time. Let's all work to be better versions of ourselves. This world is too full of shitty people. Let's work to be some of the brighter lights in this universe. So with that, till next time, thank you for tuning in.